Okay, I want you to close your eyes for a second and imagine the pitch-black Mediterranean depths right around the year 1900. You're suspended in this freezing, crushing weight of the sea off a tiny Greek island. And out of that darkness, a discovery is about to be pulled to the surface. A discovery so profoundly weird, it's going to completely rewrite human history. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are cracking open the mystery of the Antikythera Mechanism, literally an impossible machine that simply shouldn't exist.
Like opening a pyramid and finding an atomic bomb. Just let the sheer gravity of that sink in. That's from science historian Derek J. DeSola-Price. And honestly, he hit the nail on the head. We are talking about the absolute impossibility of digging up a highly advanced analog computer from the Hellenistic period. It completely shatters everything we thought we knew about what the ancient world was capable of.
Section 1. Discovery in the Deep. All right, let's dive into this. The year is 1900. A crew of Greek sponge divers off Point Glythia accidentally stumble onto the wreckage of a 1st century BCE Roman cargo ship. And down there, scattered among beautiful marble statues, intricate glassware, and ancient coins, they find something that makes absolutely no sense.
I want you to picture this like a gritty 35mm macro shot in a documentary. They pull up this severely corroded, calcified rock from 45 meters down. The bronze had reacted with the seawater and turned into this green mineral called atacamite, which cracked and shrank as it dried out. This unrecognizable lump sat totally ignored by museum staff, well, for 2 whole years actually, while everyone fawned over the more obvious gold and statues.
But that single, ugly lump, it was actually a highly fragile, incredibly intricate machine that eventually fractured into 82 distinct fragments. And those 82 pieces were hiding a secret that was about to turn our entire timeline of technological evolution completely upside down.
Section 2. The Scientist's Shock. For decades, scientists stared at these fragments in a state of literal disbelief. The true nature of this thing was revealed agonizingly slowly, as researchers desperately tried to comprehend an engineering marvel that, according to the history books, shouldn't appear for another 1,000 years.
It's an incredible detective story. In 1902, Valerio Stays notices a single, perfectly formed gear wheel embedded in the rock. Fast forward to the 1970s, and we're shooting gamma rays and X-rays at it just to peek inside. By 2005, researchers are deploying state-of-the-art 3D X-ray tomography to pierce that dense bronze crust, finally reading microscopic, faint inscriptions that have been hidden for over 2 millennia.
This modern tech finally revealed the full picture. A multidisciplinary team at University College London, armed with advanced 3D modeling, managed to crack the complex gearing at the front of the mechanism. As Professor Tony Freeth put it, it's an impressive tour de force of ancient Greek brilliance. It's a mathematical and physical miracle. Section 3. Mastering the gears. Okay, let's geek out on the engineering for a second, because the undeniably hard mechanical realities of this machine are staggering. The sheer density and precision are just wow. There are 30 surviving bronze gears. Actually, scratch that, researchers think there were originally up to 35. And they were packed incredibly close together inside a wooden case. A case that was roughly the size of a modern shoebox. Now visualize the hand-tooled precision here. Think about a macro shot zeroing in on these bronze gears. We are talking equilateral triangle gear teeth with an average circular pitch of just 1.6 millimeters. The wheels themselves, 1.4 millimeters thick, with a terrifyingly tight air gap of exactly 1.2 millimeters between them. The largest main gear on the front originally had exactly 223 tiny hand-cut teeth. That is microscopic precision. And they weren't just standard gears. They used epicyclic gearing. That's where outer gears physically revolve around a central gear. They use this genius pin and slot mechanism to calculate the irregular motion of the moon. Because the moon doesn't move at one constant speed, right? It travels faster at perigee and slower at apogee. To mechanically replicate that changing velocity means the brilliant ancient astronomer Hipparchus might have literally consulted on its design. Let's look at how this all works in practice. You turn a hand crank mounted on the side. That crank turns a crown gear linked to the largest main gear, gear B1, which drives the front date pointer. The action of that one single crank causes dozens of interlocked epicyclic gears to simultaneously rotate and compute celestial positions. Section 4.
Predicting the cosmos. So what exactly was it computing? Well, the predictive capabilities of this thing are mind-blowing. It was a literal astronomical calculator mapping out the heavens decades in advance.
Notice how these specific gears translated time into complex mathematical ratios. Gear B mechanically tracked the sidereal month of 27.3 days, while the R gear perfectly tracked the 29.5-day synodic lunar phase. This machine was quite literally doing advanced math through spinning bronze.
On the front face, whoever was operating it could align the 365-day Egyptian calendar with the 30-degree sectors of the Greek zodiac. You could actually unpin and move the outer ring to compensate for leap years. This allowed the user to precisely track the Sun, the Moon, and very likely the 5 classical planets known back then: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn.
And the back dials, just as insane. They featured a 19-year Metonic calendar and a 223-month Saros eclipse dial. Tiny glyphs on these spirals actually predicted exact eclipse times, the direction the shadow would cross, and even the color of the eclipse. Plus, tucked right in there was a smaller dial to track the 4-year cycle of the ancient Olympic Games. It was the ultimate ancient scheduling tool.
Section 5. The Lost Technology. Now, this is where the story of the Antikythera Mechanism turns into a bit of a tragedy, because this absolutely astonishing level of technological sophistication, it didn't stick around. It completely vanished.
The most crucial takeaway from all this is the stark technological gap it leaves behind. We have this hand-powered analog computer dating back to roughly 150 to 100 BC, and the next time humanity sees a machine of similar mechanical complexity, the astronomical clocks of 14th century medieval Europe. Think about that. That is a 1,500-year technological blackout.
To this day, the exact manufacturing techniques and the precision tools used to build this mechanism remain entirely lost to time. Try to picture the unknown mechanical genius, maybe working in a sunlit workshop in Rhodes or Syracuse, whose methods, whose entire technological lineage were just swallowed by the sea and completely forgotten. It leaves us with a haunting question, doesn't it? As you imagine sinking back down into the dark, freezing depths of the Mediterranean, you have to wonder, what other technological marvels of the ancient world are still waiting down there in the dark? How fragile is human progress really? Keep that curiosity alive, folks, because our history is clearly far more mysterious and way more advanced than we ever imagined.